Peace out, dudes and dudettes, dude meisters. Oh, fuck. My back hurts, and I believe it is to do with my smoking. I wish I had never started smoking, and I also wish I had never stopped smoking because it's painful, basically. But the only reason it's painful is because I started smoking. Ah. My fucking lungs just have not been right since I stopped smoking. I've decided to stand up for this one's, for today's video. I keep talking about stand-up comedy, so I've got to be able to actually stand up. If I'm going to do stand-up comedy, I will need to stand up. I don't think you're allowed tea on stage. I've been thinking about the words coming out a lot lately. Coming out. Let's go and get the microphone and pretend that I'm on stage like a ridiculous muppet. Hello, babies. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Pretending to be a little bit weird, whereas really I'm very, very weird. So here we are. I haven't done stand-up comedy for ages, but one of the things you have to learn in stand-up comedy, you see, is the microphone. The face must follow the microphone. There must be it must be sellotaped to your face, basically, kind of like that. Otherwise, it doesn't work because and then no one can actually hear what you're saying. You see. So you have to keep the microphone there because and then you have to work out the changing of hands without the moving of the. You have to keep it there. See, look what I can do. I can keep it there. I can do all sorts of things, and the microphone stays there because I am a person who can hold a microphone to my face. So, if what would you? If I was on stage, oh fuck! I haven't done this for ages. Hello, welcome to Fieros Reborn, which is who I am apparently, and I'm a little bit shy about my midriff at the moment because I've got one of those things where it's like the jumper is just ever so slightly too small, so it's kind of riding up all the time. Anyway, welcome to Fieros' story time, which is me talking shit to a camera at the moment. But I can't do this. I can't do this with a microphone. It's just silly. It's absolutely silly. It's ridiculous. It kind of makes me happy though, in a way. Woo! It's loud when you laugh into a microphone. Yeah, but what's the point of it? Why am I doing this? I can't let it down now. I can't put it down. It's there. But it's shameful. It's a shameful experience to hold a microphone in front of a camera when it's not even plugged in. What? I did actually used to do this stand-up comedy thing. And I feel very self-important about myself because I used to do stand-up comedy. I feel like I am now therefore some kind of legend just because I've done it once or twice. I've done it a fair amount, but I'm not a professional. I'm an idiot with a T that won't quite get into my face. Anyway, so that's the thing though. I mean, I've come onto the stage and I don't think I can actually talk about my past history in a stand-up kind of way because it's not really a stand-up subject. I mean, there are stuffs within my past history that are to do with stand-up. I mean, well, yeah, but also there are some things in my past that lend themselves to stand-up comedy, but really, most of it doesn't. And right, so hello. Sorry, I forgot where I was. I find it more difficult to talk about things when I'm standing up. It puts me in a real different place. It's like a real different state of mind to be standing up than to be sitting down. So it's like I almost can't even think. I can't fucking think anymore. So anyway, welcome back to the present moment. Here we are. I'm standing up this time. Still learning how to stand up with a microphone. Not actually saying anything in particular, just about the fact that I'm holding a microphone and I'm standing up. Let's just keep doing that until I realise that I can say other things than that. Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Oh, okay, so come on now. All right, so we're doing Fieros' story time. I'm just going to try and keep it exactly the same as I would normally do, apart from the fact that I'm talking much more loudly and I'm holding a microphone under my face that's not plugged in, but we can pretend it is plugged in. This is how you are hearing me. Okay, good. So, okay, I need to talk about my past, but I need to delineate from the fact that I'm not going to do it in a stand-up comedy kind of way, but I am going to do it standing up holding a microphone kind of way. So we could say maybe it's a public speaking type of thing or something. I don't know. So I am going to talk about my past. I've said that before. What's this picture of? Oh, it's a picture of me with some of my family members. That's me on that side. And there's my mum, my gran, my dad, and then my brother at the back in the middle. So that was a few years ago. Christmas tree. Everyone looks a bit younger. My dad looks like a nutter. I don't know what's up with him. His hair's everywhere. Yeah. I feel like we're in a somewhat of a bad place as a family at that point. I think that was kind of just before my parents were about to divorce, or they'd started divorcing or something, so it was all a bit weird at that time. My gran seems happier than she is now. My gran's a mess at the moment. She's not been happy for a long time. She's ill. She's got Parkinson's disease. She's in a wheelchair, but she seems to make it that is the most miserable thing that's ever happened to her, and she doesn't seem to know how to kind of cheer herself up anymore, which is weird because I know that there are other people, old people who are suffering from Parkinson's or anything else that's a debilitating disease, and not everyone responds in the same way emotionally to it, you know. And it seems like she's kind of just decided that she won't be happy now, which if it was me, I would be concertedly trying to stay happy somehow or make the most of it, and she seems to be like just not having a good time and not seeming to, I don't know, she just doesn't seem to kind of, it's bizarre because there are other women who are old and who are infirm, who are in wheelchairs, who seem much more happy than she does. You know, she just seems like cantankerous or bitch. Yeah, what else have we got pictures wise? Well, this is my mum and my gran playing on the guitar, which by guitar I mean piano. So it's nice to see them doing something together, but they don't do things together apart from my mum's like my gran's little worker bee, which is a shame because they don't really have a relationship anymore. They're just a working relationship, which is a bit of a bugger. Okay, so I'm still gonna carry on standing up, even though it's hard and it's kind of hurting my back, but I got to get in the zone for it. So, right, I'm going to talk about Mr. B, the past, my relationship with a man, which I find strange that I even had a relationship with a man at all. But yeah, so it's weird because I feel like at the time when I was going through uni, I felt like I was really, really myself. But then looking back, I feel like I was completely off the mark of myself, it's weird. I was so enthusiastic about life at that time. I had this radio show on the student radio, and yeah, maybe a few of my friends listened in, and they were kind of cool with it. They thought it was fun, and that was good for me. And then I was doing the campaigns for them. the green stuff, and the stand-up comedy at the open mic night, and writing songs, and I was doing my course in art and philosophy and politics in there as well. So I was learning, and I was drawing, and I was writing, and I was having friends and stuff, and it was like I was really young and full of spunk, full of optimism about life. And then I went through life, and so from kind of the age of 19 to 28, so nearly 10 years, or I may as well just say from 18 to 28, which is this 10-year period that I'm referring to throughout this whole video series, Fieros Storytime, from 2004 to 2014. That whole 10-year period amounts to a severe amount of shit. Just a hell of a lot of shit I went through. Like, I did not have a normal experience of life, in that the normal experience of life I see as being going to work, or okay, go to school, finish school, and then you either get a job or you go to university. You finish university, and then you get a job. You might be unemployed for a period afterwards, so you get a job, or you start your own business, for example. Or you go traveling, right? But everything has sort of a sense of linearity to it. So it's one step leads on to the next step. And so, like, if you leave school, you might get a job straight away, and you might work your way slowly up in that career ladder, or maybe switch across to a different field, maybe, I don't know. But my life has been spent mostly off the rails, basically. So, and whenever I try and get back on the rails of life, it just goes, you're not supposed to be on the rails. What are you doing on the rails? Get off. You're some kind of mad nomadic type of person that just doesn't have a fixed path. Your path is not a linear, straightforward line path. Your path is a bizarre, bouncing around type of path that seems to just be like one of those bouncy balls. You know those bouncy balls? I don't know if you ever had them. They've got lots of different knobbles on them, and you bounce it and it goes ping over there, over there, and it hits another wall or a chair or something. It goes ping somewhere else, and it just pings around everywhere, and it never bounces in a straightforward way. It just goes ping, and it goes one direction, then it lands and it goes the other one, and it just doesn't make any sense. That feels like what my life has been like. I've never sort of settled down and like been in one particular line of things in a directed way that is acknowledged by society anyway. I mean, if I look at my artistic career, my artistic musical video speaking writing career, those things have been consistent activities that I've been engaged in over 15 years, maybe even more than that, 16, 17 years. But there's not been a sense that those things are consistently meshing with society, that that is something that I am doing long term as a job that I'm being paid for. It's always been like a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff there. So like a little bit of kind of success came when I was busking and things were going well for a little while, and I was getting a few gigs out of that, and I was earning fairly decent money on the street from busking. And then it was like, that didn't work out anymore because the environment that I was in, I didn't like it. And then I went off to America, and it's just like everything has always been just kind of little bits and bobs of stuff happening, and nothing that's been kind of, right, I'm doing this and I'm going to do it until a certain point, and then I'm going to do something else concertedly. And it's really fucking hard to try and do what I want to do, and do it in a way that is marketable for other people, so that they get it and understand it and get in on it and get on board with it, and so they fucking pay me, basically. So it's been a real fucking challenge. And also, it's been a fucking challenge to have my head in a place where I'm able to fucking concentrate for a long-term period on a particular project without bailing off it halfway through, because what I used to do when I had jobs is I'd go to the job and I'd be able to stick at it for maybe 2-3 weeks, and then I'd be like, I can't handle it anymore. I'd get too stressed, and I'd just bail basically. I'd just quit and say I can't do it anymore. Or what I would tend to do actually would not just, I wouldn't even say anything. I just wouldn't show up. I would just hide. I would just hide because I was so depressed and stressed from the job. I couldn't face the calling the agency or the job, whoever it was, or the job center or whoever it was that who was hassling me to, fucking, why haven't you showed up to work today or for the past 5 days? What the hell? Where have you gone? Don't you want your money? And I just couldn't face it. I couldn't face the shame of the fact that I bailed out because I found it too stressful and I was too depressed and I found it too much of a burden and I was having a panic attack at work and I couldn't face those phone calls where they were going to ask me what's going on, and they may even be pissed at me as well. Like, I imagined them to be pissed at me, and on the very rare occasions when I did actually pick the phone up, they weren't happy with me because I'd obviously fucking left them in the lurch by just not showing up to work. And I wasn't able to face those conversations because I felt like it wasn't acceptable for me to say to them, the reason I didn't go into work was because I was having a panic attack, because I've had a mental health difficulty in the past. I'm majorly depressed, and I find the responsibility of the job too hard. And in the job there, I felt claustrophobic and trapped, but it's not really necessarily to do with the job. It's to do with my own personal life, my personal issues that, and I just felt like I couldn't say those things because I felt like it wasn't legitimate in some way. That the person on the other end of the line would not have said, "Oh, okay, I understand." This was just my perception. It might not have been that way, but I felt like they would have said, "Oh, you should have called us or something, and you should have given us notice." And I just felt that go. Um, I couldn't go into the job, and I couldn't face the ramifications of not showing up because it was too hard, emotionally too hard, because it was like a kind of codependent thing. I was worried about how they were going to see me and how they were going to respond to me, so I was living in fear of how other people were going to respond to me, and also finding it really difficult when people did respond to me negatively. So it was a real tough period of my life, with regard to work. Yeah, and okay, I'm gonna try and do a summary. It might be different now that I'm standing up because it is like I am accessing my information in a different way now that I'm standing up. It's weird. It's weird how just by standing up, I'm talking differently and feeling differently, and it feels like I'm more on the spot. It feels like there's more pressure in a way. I feel like I have to kind of present more. I don't feel as relaxed. I feel like just by being stood up, it sort of feels dangerous, or like I can't just be silent. I can't just kind of hang out, if that makes sense. I have to be like on it. So I feel slightly agitated inside. Not majorly agitated, but more agitated than normal. So let's try and summarize things again, because when I try and summarize things, it tends to bring out more things anyway to talk about. So let's start from the beginning. 2004. Okay, I'd been at school, at Langley Grammar School, for a number of years. Correct. I got really good marks in my GCSEs, which I was pleased with. However, I suppose there was a slight edge of fear that I wouldn't be able to get that again, or that there's a subtle like pressure to repeat the thing. Then I got into sixth form. I re-met Andrea because I'd known of her. She was in the school already, right? Since you came in she was 1 year older than everyone, but she was from South Africa, and there was a change.
There was a difference in the school systems, right? So she was a year older than us, but she was in the same year as us. So it was just something to do with how the school systems mapped across, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but I didn't really pay much attention to her when we were in the lower school part, because I met her just because like she was just sort of there as a new person in the second year. Um, and I remember actually thinking she was kind of ugly, and I didn't want anything to do with her, and I wasn't attracted to her or anything. And you needed to know these things when you were a kid, when you were in secondary school. You needed to know who you fancied and who you didn't fancy, so you could go, and you could go yum yum yum. I had some weird crushes. I seemed to fancy the girl that no one else really fancied all the time. I kind of found the weird ones attractive. Um, yeah, that no one else seemed to fancy, which is interesting. Anyway, so when it got to sixth form, everyone was chucked into the same sixth form common room, and then also our form groups that had been set throughout the whole of the lower school. When we got to sixth form, the form groups were rearranged. So you had people from all the different ones from the lower school. We were sort of all mixed up. So I think we only had 4 form groups in the lower school, which was H, K, S, and V. Harvey, Kidderminster, Slytherin. No. Harvey, Kidderminster, Seymour, and Villiers. And I was in V for Villiers. Right, there was another one that came along later, which was R for Robinson, which was the name of a head teacher, the first head teacher who was there when we arrived at school in year 7. And so those form groups were all swished around when we got to sixth form. And so we were shoved in with different people who we wouldn't normally associate with because they were from different form groups. So there was some cross-pollination in the form groups anyway. Like our form V was quite close with the form S, and we had lots of different friend cross-pollinations, if that makes sense. So, you know, a bunch of us from V were friends with a bunch of the guys from S, and there was some other stuff with some of the girls from V were friends with some of the girls from H or K. I can't remember. Who cares? Yeah, and so we were in sixth form. We all got shoved in together in different arrangements to before. So that gave opportunity to speak to new people and get to know new people and stuff, and to be irritated by new people as well. Yeah, a couple of people who were pretty irritating to me. But they were kind of they were cool enough to vaguely want to associate with them, but they were irritating enough to want to get away from them as well. So it's like, oh, you're such a bunch of dicks. I went through a phase in sixth form, maybe the whole of sixth form, of wearing so we used to have, the uniform was black trousers, white shirt, black jumper, and black blazer with the Langley Grammar thingy on it. I'm going to hold this even though it's not plugged in. I know it's silly, but I've got to practice. Yeah, and I used to like roll my sleeves of my white long sleeve shirt over my black jumper so they were kind of folded back. So you had this little white cuff thing there, which no one else did, and that was my thing. And I thought I was kind of cool, but other people thought it was kind of weird. But I thought, no, this is my thing. And I kind of nicked it off Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. Yeah, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit because I believed, and I don't know if he is, but I believe he was gay. But I just liked his kind of style. He was he'd embraced his feminine side, whether he was gay or not. Right? I don't know what it is. I'm not going to research it right now. But yeah, I thought that was cool. It was a different style, and no one else was doing it. Only I did it. So I got a little bit of flack for that. Like a couple of the people were like, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, "Because I like it. I think it's fucking cool." Yeah. So there you go. What a renegade. What else? Okay, yeah. So I met Andrea properly, like because, well, I knew of her from GCSE art, I think, but I don't really remember that much about it because we were shoved in together in GCSE art as well, I think. Okay, but we were definitely shoved together in A-level art, and we were shoved together in A-level English, which was great because I fancied the pants off her. I got to know her. We started going out. I fucked her. That sounds horrible to say it like that. We lost our virginity together. She was the first person who I had sex with ever, and it was pretty bad. We had sex once, and I jizzed after 30 seconds or less, maybe even 10 seconds. I don't know. It was a pretty poor first experience, but we carried on and we did it a few more times. I remember counting 5 times in total. Quite how you can have sex. Let me say that again. Quite how you can have sex 5 times and have it actually be counted as having sex. I think it just, for me, it was like, right, we go in, get in and out for a bit. Whether or not I actually come is another thing, but that counts as one go. And then if you have a rest where you're outside of the vagina for a while, right, and then you go back in, then that counts as a second time. Even if you don't come, that's a second time. I don't know what. How do you clearly delineate different shags? Is it just about when the penis is exposed to the air for a certain period of time? That's a cut-off point. You're no longer shagging. I don't know. Because you can have hands-off sex, can't you? You can have auric thing. You can stimulate the aura, and you can make people come without even touching them. There you go. So look that up. What is it called? Hands-free sex. Auric stimulation, auric sex, chakra sex, something like that. Tantric. It's a tantric thing. Tantric baby. Anyway, so we had a lot of sex, and sex was becoming a problem for us as well because we were at it like rabbits, and it was kind of distressing because we were just so fucking horny. We weren't getting anything else done. We weren't doing our work, and our like relationship quality was kind of just based around sex for a period of time, which is fine. But then after that, you're like, okay, we're just basically addicted to sex now. We cannot stop ourselves from having sex, and therefore we're not really like bonding in any other way other than sex. So we were both troubled by the amount of sex we were having, because I think we also felt like it was wrong in some way to be having so much sex because of the whole shame thing about sex. You know, I don't know. Some part of us just wasn't agreeing with the fact that we were having so much sex. So we tried to tone it down, but it just never worked. Yeah, so I went through all different kinds of dramas with her because I had my own drama about my sexuality going on in my head, which I've mentioned before many, many times. And then I also had dramas because there was this other girl who I fancied as well. And I was flirting with her and yet keeping it a secret from Andrea, but then mentioning it every now and again. And then, so Andrea was flirting with this other guy as well consistently. So it was just a bit of a mess. Like, it was just a teenage fucking drama of mess. But her and I had good times as well. We went on various different holidays together, family holidays. Like, she came to France with my family for a bit, which was cool, but I wasn't looking forward to it because I was having a fucking crisis of my sexuality at that time again. So I wasn't looking forward to her coming, and I actually kind of cried in advance. I was like saying to my mum, I don't want her to come because I'm so fucking confused about myself. And then she did come, and it was fine. And it was actually quite good. But the problem with Andrea and I was that we were too close, and I was too needy for her. Like, I couldn't manage myself, basically. I had to be clinging onto her all the time, and I couldn't manage myself away from her, and I couldn't manage myself with her either. So, like, my life had become unmanageable in that situation. I was just constantly wanting to be with her all the time. When I wasn't with her, I was whining and needing and pining all the fucking time. and texting her and calling her and stuff and being a fucking whiny, needy penis. And then, like, when we were together with her, oh, fuck's sake, when we were spending time together, whatever, I couldn't manage myself then either. Like, I couldn't just be by myself or next to her without, like, fucking being all over her and touching her and having to be connected with her at all times, which was actually a form of suffering for me and for her as well, because it's like, Ross, leave me alone. And for me, I was like, oh, I can't control myself, and my emotions are just too fucking strong and all over the place, and it feels painful to have them being moved around by this other person, and I just felt like. Also, another thing was I was chasing this feeling of called it the tingles, butterflies, and what it was a feeling of like this sort of butterfly feeling in my chest. I believe it was my chest. No, it was more my solar plexus area actually. And the tingles for me was this happy, bubbly kind of feeling inside there, like a little sort of sprinkler of fireworks or something inside this area. And that was the feeling that I was always looking for. That this is the feeling that is love, or this is the love feeling, right? That's what I thought it was. And so I was constantly chasing that feeling, and then I was upset with the fact when it wouldn't happen. So I would use that feeling as a symbol to tell me, or as a guidance thing to tell me whether we were in love or not, or whether our relationship was going well or not. So if I had that feeling, then I was like, yes, this is going well, and that's how it's supposed to be. When the feeling didn't come, then I would be like, oh, our relationship's going terrible and it's going nowhere. And not even like that, but it's more like, maybe we're not in love, or maybe I don't love her, or maybe something's wrong between us, or but it's more just like this constant craving to feel that feeling. And so the craving was turning me into some kind of tingle hunter. Yeah, I was a tingle hunter. I was always trying to get these fucking tingles from her. Squeezing her nipples used to give me the tingles, just beep, like that. It used to send a tingle straight into my solar plexus area, especially in the car. And kissing her nipples and kissing her used to bring that feeling there as well. But the problem was that it's like I based my whole sense of the well-being of the relationship around this one feeling. And it was also that I kind of became some kind of emotionally dependent on that feeling as well. Like, I had to have it in order to feel good, and therefore I was constantly trying to chase it and constantly feeling disappointed when it wasn't there. So it's not like, it wasn't a very relaxed approach to this feeling. So I just had to have that feeling, basically. It wasn't like, oh, there's that feeling. Oh, it's really nice. That's great. Oh, I'm really enjoying that feeling. It was like, where's the feeling? I need the feeling. Oh, God. And if it's not there, then everything's going wrong and it's bad. Oh, there's the feeling. Yes, finally, my amazing feeling. Oh, no, it's gone. It was just this drama of this one tingly little feeling. Yeah. And I call it the tingles. We called it the tingles because she would have it as well. Yeah, but that was a nightmare thing, to be constantly in craving of a feeling. Yeah. So I was just really, really enmeshed and entrapped with her, and like, I just didn't have an independent emotional self, basically. Yeah. I didn't have an independent feeling of my emotional self. So I wasn't safe and comfortable with my own emotions. I had to use her. I wouldn't have called it that, but that's what it was. I was using her as a stimulus for me to feel good. And that sounds horrible how I was saying that, because we were having a genuine relationship as well, right? But there was this part of me that was seeking fulfillment from this other person. So essentially using another person to make me feel good, to make me feel better. And me feeling like crap when I wasn't able to get these good feelings from her. So it was a hard lesson overall, and also it was a hard thing to be on the receiving end of, I imagine. Like, if someone was doing that for me, get out of my face, Pardon me, farted a little bit there. if someone was doing that to me, you're out. What are you doing? Stop using me for good feelings. Out you go. Yeah. So that was that. Okay. So still summarying. So we had a fairly good relationship, I would say. We had our ups and downs, and the downs were pretty dramatic. Actually, no, we had a good relationship, but the relationship was all about drama, pretty much. We had fun, but my own experience of the relationship was that it was all drama, and it's not her fault. It's just because that's where I was in my mind and emotions at that time. I'm pretty sure that if I was with anyone else, it would have been all about drama. It was all about drama. It was all about me. All about me and my little drama about, am I gay or not? I don't know. She says, oh, people are people. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. Am I bisexual? I don't know. And she's like, well, people are people. I'm like, I can't, that's not good enough for me to just say, oh, people are people. I clearly fancied her. I clearly enjoyed having sex with her. But some part of me was just couldn't understand why there was this other aspect of me, this other repressed gay aspect of me. I just couldn't deal with the thoughts about, I could not tolerate any thinking, basically. I could not tolerate thinking or feeling of any sort to do with homosexuality. I couldn't tolerate it. Weird book has just popped into my consciousness. The Mind's Eye by Hofstadter and Dennett. Fair enough. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I couldn't tolerate any feelings or thinking. It was mainly thinking, actually, because I don't think I really had feelings about gay stuff. I had thinking. It was all about thinking. And I couldn't tolerate any thoughts about me being gay. Because the thinking would immediately come up against a feeling of stress or confusion. So my head would just be going round and round and round about, am I gay or not? Am I gay or not? Am I gay or not? Maybe I'm bisexual. How would I know if I'm gay anyway? You know, what about these things from the past that I did with boys when I was younger? What does that mean? Is that part of it? It was a nightmare. I still go through this every now and again. It still comes back every now and again. I go, what am I doing? Yeah, so my sexuality has never been confirmed. I would like maybe to write to the government and they could say, we confirm your sexuality is this. Here's a certificate, put it on your wall. You can rest assured that your sexuality is as we say it is. Therefore, you never ever have to think about it ever again. That would be really good. I could have done with that. And you just go, oh, what's my sexuality again? There it is. It's on the wall on the certificate. Signed, the government. That would be helpful. I might make that, actually. But then I'd have to decide, what am I going to put on it? Maybe I'll put on all the different ones I've ever considered. And I'll just say, have them all. Just have all of them. Okay? You can't decide. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that is all it is. It's just I cannot choose one. I want to have them all. I want to be straight. I want to be gay. I don't really want to be bi, but part of me says it's there, let's have it. I want to be transgendered as well in various different ways. I'm going to have a woman trapped inside a man's body. I also want to be a lesbian trapped inside a man's body. So I want to be a straight woman trapped inside a man's body, therefore I'm a gay person. So we would just have to have all of them. And then, and I want to be a woman trapped inside a man's body. I don't want to have a genitalia change operation, whatever you call it, gender reassignment therapy thing, sex reassignment. I don't want to have that, but I'll put it up there anyway. I'm actually a woman. I used to be a man. Let's put that up on the wall as well. So we've got straight, gay, bisexual, trans, being a woman in a man's body. I want to also have a sort of cross-dressing thing as well. So I want to have a period where I am a woman in a man's body, but I don't dress as a female, if that makes sense. I just want to have normal boy clothes, but no, I'm a woman. Okay. I want to have them all. Let's just have them all and just put them up there. This is your sexuality. It is all of them. And but you're only really interested in the straight one, but you still have them all to choose from if you wish, and you do not have to be in conflict with them. They can be there. There they are. And then I can be like, that's what it was. I just need all of them. I'm not settled on having only one. I've got to have them all. Let's have them all. Let's put them up on the wall, and I can have them all. Bing. I've actually solved my sexuality problem. I have solved it. It's done. Look at that. It only took like 50 videos or 60 videos to get to that point. Just put them all up on the wall. I can have it. I can have all of them, and I don't have to choose. That's what it's been. It's just been about having your cake and eating it. Oh my God. This is a revelation. This is actually a minor revelation, you know. Because I think probably what the thing is, and has been about the whole sexuality thing, is about the pressure to commit to one. Only one. And even when you kind of, there are certain sexualities that don't, there's certain labels of sexuality that don't restrict you. So you, what do you call it? Pansexual or something, right? They're kind of anyone that you fancy is who you fancy, something like that, right? But even that that's not enough, okay? Because that label doesn't seem to encompass everything else, and I need to have them all. I don't want to just commit to being a pansexual or whatever it is, and then I need a bit of asexuality as well. So let's put that up there as well. I'm going to be asexual for a while, not for a while. It is me. All of them are me. Okay, they're all me. I have all of them. They're all mine. All of them have always been mine, and I do not. This is a serious thing. I think it is. My problem has always been, I am not settled on any one of these particular labels. And in fact, something I tend to do in my life as well is I feel like I have this need to try every possible avenue first before I do the right one. This is true. I do it in computer games. There's a set sort of script or map or whatever that you're supposed to go down this particular route, and I like to fanny about trying out all the different things that you can kind of maybe do, and I just mess about and explore with what can be achieved with the controls that you have and with the screen that's presented in front of you, without moving too far, and just like, okay, what can I do here? What tricks can I do? You know, what can I make the character do that makes it look fun, for example, or makes him dance? I quite often try and make my characters dance. That's one of the funnest things I do, if I do say so myself. And that's always been something. Not always. Maybe it has been always. I always want to have a little bit of everything first. I want to try a little bit of everything. I even did this. I did this in beers and drinks. I went through this phase where I went to a bar, and every time I went to the bar, I wanted something different. I had this thing one week, and then I had the next one, and I had the next one. I tried every fucking spirit that there was, and I tried every beer that there was. I mean, there's not much difference, really, between a lot of them. Certainly with the beers and ales. Who gives a shit? But I tried everyone. I was like, I have had that before. I'm gonna have this one now. 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 And I wouldn't have the same thing twice, if at all possible, for a period of my life. Yeah, and I wanted to try one of everything. And then I just ended up going back to having Fosters like I normally have. But I was like, no, I have to try everything. And I did this thing. Same thing with menus in restaurants. I wanted to try everything. I think I did this at McDonald's. I made sure I had one of everything from McDonald's at one point. That was a weird phase. But I was just doing I wanted to try a little bit of everything first so that I knew everything, and so that I wasn't excluding parts of my experience somehow. So I think that does relate to the sexuality thing, because there's a part of me that just won't. I don't want to just have one. I want to have them all. Just give me them all, okay? And I can just have them there, And I might not even use the sexualities. I just have the straight one, and that's my active one. But the other ones, I just like to have them there in case, just in case, just in case. And they're over there. They have to be over there. They can't be over. Or maybe no, they don't. They don't belong over on that side. There they are. They're over there. There's my sexuality wall. Have a look. So when people ask me what's your sexuality, I say I have all of them. I have all of them. I tend to I'm only really active with the straight one, but they are all there should I need them. Yeah, I've done it. I've completed the journey. That's all this been about. That's all that this has been about. I've got them all now. I completed the set. Yes, it's like a collection. They're going to invent new ones though, aren't they? So I have to put them down there somewhere. They're always inventing new sexualities. Okay, good. I feel glad about that. I do genuinely feel glad about that. That's been good. It's all just been about choice. It's been about choice and narrowness. I don't like the narrowness. I can't just have the narrowness. I don't want to commit. It's claustrophobic to commit to one particular one. It's like, yes, that's the straight one, and it makes most sense to me, and it fits the most of my actions and feelings and behavior and thoughts. But you cannot just exclude all the other ones. You know, you can't. It's unfair to all the other ones. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm straight. Fuck the rest of them." You got to be like, "Well, let's have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that." Blah, blah, blah. Because also, how can you relate? You can't relate to other people unless you like feel some connection with these different parts, isn't it? You've got to be able to understand where other people are coming from. I think maybe I don't know. Yeah. Because there's that thing, like if you reject these aspects of yourself, then when you meet someone who is of that, who does have that sexuality or who does have that way of being or lifestyle or whatever, and they come to you, then you're going to reject them. So therefore, you've screened out a human being and you've rejected a human being, which is not nice, and you've kind of separated yourself from humanity to that degree that you reject another person, that you reject a part of another person, you reject that part in yourself as well. So maybe that's what this has all been about. Good, I'm glad we have all of the sexualities on display to choose from. I'm still going to go back to the straight one. Fine. So now let's talk about the gay one. When I thought, maybe we'll have that one, only that one. See, this is where my life goes wrong, is where we just stick. If you stick to one particular sexuality, you ruined it. You've ruined it. What are you like? There's a lot of them to take care of, okay? Now, why are you only going with one at a time? You have to have a little bit of everything, okay? And have your main one, fine. But don't exclude the rest of them. So when I went to the gay one, this makes perfect sense, actually. When I went to the gay one, and I was like, right, I'm going to be gay. Then the straight one was going, hold on, what about me? Okay? That makes sense. That actually makes sense. So I tried to commit to to the gay identity, the gay sexuality, the gay mode. Gay mode. You are now entering gay mode. I'm in gay mode. Hello. Right, no. So I tried to commit to the gay one and only the gay one. And then the straight one was saying, what about me? And then the bisexual one was going, well, what about me then? Because, you know, if we've got gay and straight having an argument, then you got bisexual who's saying, well, obviously it's me. I'm the real one. And then and then there's this little part in there as well that says, oh, if I'm gay, then maybe it's because I'm a woman in a man's body. And then so we have this one coming along over here, which is saying, I'm obviously the one. That's why you're having a conflict in the first place, because you are a woman in a man's body, and therefore, being a woman, a straight woman in a man's body, you fancy men, right? So the gay one saying, well, so the gay sexuality is not even really just a gay sexuality. It's the fact that I'm a woman in a man's body. So that's the true one. And then the straight one's going, well, is that really the case though? So then you have a woman in man's body, and then you come later on to where I am now, which is I'm not a straight woman in a man's body. I'm actually a lesbian woman in a man's body. Okay. I don't want to have the gender reassignment therapy, but then I will have it anyway, just for a laugh. and then I'll have it undone. So I go back to that one just so that I can have a little taste of all of them. Okay. Then we have asexuality, which is probably closer to what I sort of am now-ish, maybe. I don't know. Asexuality is threatening to me. I don't like asexuality. I don't feel I understand what it really is. I'm in denial of asexuality. I don't like it. I think that's wrong. And that's my judgment, obviously. I don't understand it. I don't really know what is that. Is that a choice, or is that just how you feel, or is that to do with past trauma? I don't know, but there you go. So, but it's got to be there. So I need to maybe look more into that. There's other stuff as well that I don't know what's over there. For example, in that second. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots on the bottom, and I've only got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 things covered. So this is just from off the top of my head. I haven't done any research. I have not done any research on this. Okay, so the straight one is really the fact that I'm a lesbian in a man's body, right? Oh, there's cross-dressing thing as well, but I don't want to. Sometimes I do like a bit of cross-dressing, but only very occasionally. Like skirts aren't really my thing. I think they show off my legs badly. I have worn them in the past, as we know from the hippie days, right, where I used to wear the dress. So I've done that, and I have pranced around in my mum's clothes, not her underwear. Oh God, her clothes. But it never kind of really stuck. It was not something that I was like deeply passionate about, and I didn't think, yeah. I just went, okay. It was fun to do it. I think also that one of the things about my sexualities, all of them, is is that I just want to be free. Is what it is. I want to have the freedom of expression. So that's again part of why I don't like the idea of committing to anyone in particular, because I feel like it somehow limits my freedom of expression to just say, all right, I'm this one. I don't want to have to say I'm any one of these in particular, although the straight one is the one that works the best overall. I just want to be able to kind of be free of all the labels and be free of all the options, and just have them as kind of, okay, yeah, they're there. This has been a really good exercise, actually. I'm very glad about that. Still, the straight one is attracting me more, but it's a lie. So yeah, when I went to the gay one, solely on the gay side of things, and I tried to be with a guy, then I had the straight aspect of myself say, no, you fancy women, what the hell? And then, so I broke up with him. Then I went on this more free journey when I was just kind of like experimenting with whatever I wanted to be, and I didn't have any set sexual agenda, set sexual understanding of myself. I was just very, very open to any sexual interaction with anyone who I had a connection with, right, male or female. And I did a bit of, you could say, cross-dressing. I'm sure that is not a term that people like these days, cross-dressing, but that's my limited vocabulary. I do apologize if that offends you, but you should be able to get over yourself by now, surely. Turn me off if it annoys you that much. Turn it off. Yeah, I'm all woman inside. So that's been good, actually. That has been genuinely good. That's the first time I've ever come up with that understanding, that it's partly because I don't want to limit my freedom, and it's also that there are these different nuanced parts of my emotional sexual makeup or understanding that all have somewhat of a say, but none of them are particularly, they're not strong enough for me to want to commit to any of them in particular. And I can't feel like I can commit to the straight one as a labeled identity either, because of the presence of these other aspects. So although the straight part of me is the strongest part, I feel like I'm in denial of everything else if I am to say that I'm straight. So that's where I'm having the issue, is that I cannot I want to be able to just say I'm straight, but I have all these other aspects as well to take care of or to be aware of inside me, and most of them are not even active. Like they're not even. I don't do anything about them, if that makes sense. But I know that they're there and they have a subtle presence from the background of my life, from my past, for example. The fact that I was in a gay relationship has a background understanding in the past of somewhere I've been, someone I've been with, a few other people I've been with, tangentially, and so it's all there, which has a subtle impact on how I feel overall. But I don't do anything about them other than talk about it or write about it. So yeah, bizarre. Okay. So I broke up with him because the relationship wasn't working. It really wasn't working, and I was in a lot of pain and suffering. And I still feel like I haven't even gone into this relationship properly. I kind of skip over it. I just skip over it. I just want to get out of it, basically. The whole thing was uncomfortable for me. There was a lot of arguments there. I'm going to put the microphone down. I'm going to go back onto the sitting approach. Okay. Feels like literally the sound has gone off just by doing that. Okay. We're okay. So I do want to continue talking about him. I'm trying to figure out, like, I say it was bad. I say it was stressful. I say it was chaotic. I say it was abusive, even that he was abusive. And yet I feel like I haven't even touched the surface somewhat of the whole thing. Like, why was it so bad? Was it so bad? It must have been bad. But where am I getting these, like, where am I justifying these feelings from? I've said a bit about it, but I feel like I haven't even really said it properly. So I may well even do a really long video on this one, just to keep myself going so that I can push through some blocks. Bollocks? Let's call him Mr. B for now, because it's safer to call him that, for me to feel safe. So how do we meet? We met at the Outback. When I first met him, I don't really have a memory of first meeting him. I remember him as being part of the 3 gays that were there. So the 3 gays was what they were called. These 3 guys who were gay, and they were just known in the restaurant as the gays. That's just what people called them. That was pre-existing by the time I got there, so it was nothing to do with me. That's just what it was, what they were called. One of them left pretty soon. I think they might have left before I even got the job. So I went in for an interview and I saw that guy, and then by the time I actually got the job and went to my training, the guy had left. I don't know why. So there's 2 gays left. Charlie, Mr. B, and Jermaine. That's Charlie is named Mr. B in this. Not Charlie, Mr. B, a separate person, and Jermaine. Although maybe Mr. B is a separate alter ego of Charlie. Could be. Yeah, so I remember him. He was a host. He was on the host stand. So his job was to arrange. Well, he blocked out which servers. We were called servers. We weren't actually called waiters. We were called servers. Which server had which part of the restaurant to serve. And then he would, when people would come to the restaurant, he would allocate those customers in a fair way. He would try to be fair. People were supposed to be fair when they were allocating customers to tables, so that each server got a proportional amount of customers. Does that make sense? So that each server was getting given customers, because one of the points of being a server was for your tips, because you were working on, I believe it was even less than minimum wage, but your tips would make up the minimum wage and more than that anyway. But you were supposed to declare your tips, but I don't think anyone ever did. I didn't anyway. So that was a nice little bit of illegality there, wasn't it? Um, so yeah, I don't really remember much of our early conversations other than he was trying to flirt with me and he told me that he was trying to convert me. Which, when he said that, I wasn't happy with that. I was like, no, don't do that, and I don't want you to do that, and no, you won't. And he kind of did ish. He didn't convert me to being gay, though. He got me into a relationship with him, but he didn't convert me to being gay. Even after all this stuff I've said up there, I was trying to be gay, but I wasn't actually gay fully. As we say, as I say, they're all a little bit a part of me. Yeah, so he was trying to convert me, and then I got my hair cut because the relationship with Andrew had broken up prior to me getting the job at Outback. She cheated on me. Fine, that's done. We'd met up once after that, I think, at KFC in Uxbridge and just had to catch up. And I was feeling like I wanted to get her back. And I did meet up with her every now and again and always felt like I wanted to try and get her back. I feel like right now I feel like it's kind of pointless to talk about this stuff because it's so long ago and it's so transient and so done and so gone that what does it matter? But it obviously does matter because it's part of my history that has got stuck and has not been processed. And I cannot let it go, or I have not let it go. And I'm aware I'm just saying the same damn things as I've been saying forever anyway. But I'm also trying to get myself coherent about this. Like, I want it to be in order and I want it to be okay to talk about. And I can just say, right, well, this was what it was. And then it turned to this. So I had this moment as well, which I haven't really spoken about properly, but I had this moment around the time before I got the job at Outback where I was really depressed. I was depressed that Andrew had gone. I was depressed that I didn't have a job, and I felt this impending sense of dread about my money running out and not being able to use my car anymore, and therefore not being able to run my band anymore. And I felt this sense of doom, real horrible feeling of dread and doom about getting a job. I just felt it like, God, like something coming in to get me. And it's weird because I didn't really have that sensation about my previous jobs. I mean, I had it a little bit. I was never too happy about getting a job. I always felt like I was being forced to get a job. It wasn't really a choice. But there was a real big, bad sense of doom about this job decision. I felt like, oh God, my money's running out. I had 800 quid from my Legoland tax rebate. I had my car, my new car, my Rover 25 car. Legoland had finished, so no work. Running my car, pardon me, maybe buying some food in the day and clothes and stuff. Money running out. And really quickly, money runs out really quickly somehow when you're not employed. It just like goes. And I was spending time at my bassist's house, and we were smoking a lot of weed and jamming and stuff because he was still my bassist at that point. We were still trying to make the band work at that point, although it was getting into a bit of a tricky time because my bassist's fingers were blistering, as I mentioned before, from the nickel in the strings. So we were having trouble with that, and also his motivation was flagging as well. And we were having all that stuff around Chris, our drummer, and the fact that he was still doing school, and so it was difficult for us to have practices and stuff. And things were getting really kind of hard to run a band and to maintain a band. So I was going around to gyms, the bassist, and smoking weed and stuff, and I don't know whether I fancied him or not. I mean, he's an attractive guy. He's got an attractive face. He's got a good-looking face, I suppose. Yeah, he's got a good-looking face. I guess. If you're into that. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he's got pretty eyes. He's got pretty eyes. It looks like he's wearing makeup, even though he's not. Yeah, but he's a man, and it's weird. But anyway, I, so we were like, we used to sit and smoke weed in his bedroom, on his bed, and watch TV, like comedy stuff. I remember watching Ricky Gervais' Animals or Politics, one of the first two that he did. And I remember watching The Labyrinth with Jim, with David Bowie. Yeah. And we were stoned and thinking it was hilarious because we were stoned. Psychedelic stuff is always better when you're stoned, or stuff that's like gnarly and slightly trippy. Metaphoric stories are much better when you're stoned, I used to think anyway. I don't know whether they are or not, but you certainly are taken into a different realm when you're watching a kind of trippy film while you're stoned. I really want to show some people who smoke weed or who take psychedelics. I want to show them some of my trippy music and some of my trippy videos because I think they would be good if you're stoned. Yeah. Anyway, maybe I should get stoned and just watch some of those things. I don't really like being stoned though anymore. It's too strong. It's too strong an experience. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I feel like I'm gonna die. Literally, I feel like I'm dying because my body just sets on fire with these feel-good chemicals, and it's just way too strong. It's so intense. Just can't deal with it. I go. I feel like I'm gonna pop, and then I can't handle it, and I have to lie down because it's like my body's going, and I'm like, oh god, I'm dying, man. I'm dying. It's too strong, far too strong. And there doesn't seem to be like a small enough amount either for me to just take a small amount and for me to go, okay, they can deal with that. It seems that the longer I go without having any, the stronger it gets, or the more sensitive my body gets to it. Because I remember I was okay with it for a while. I could have a little bit and I'd kind of trip out and it was okay. And then I had this one puff on this guy's Zoot, and I tripped balls for 5 hours. It's horrible. It's so horrible, man. And then I sat in the chair in my room. I just felt like I was accelerating through space and time. Oh my god. And I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm burning up my karma. But it was like, I can't handle this. It's so strong. Like to the point where I felt like I was nauseous and I was sick and I was going to fall over and collapse. And I was like, I just got to go to bed, man. I just got to go to fucking bed. I can't handle this shit. So, and that was from one toke on a Zoot. And I was so upset about that afterwards because I was like, that was supposed to be a good time and it just ruined my day. It just ruined my afternoon and evening. I was paranoid while I was in town after I'd had the toke. I was paranoid and like thinking everyone knew and everyone was gonna like tell the police or something. What the fuck? Who cares? Oh, police, by the way, that guy's stoned. Yeah, whatever. Why are you telling me? I don't care. He's stoned. Big deal. And then so I was paranoid about that. And then got home and I was just sat in my chair. I was like, oh my god, this is not ending. It's so strong. I can't deal with it. Yeah. Where did this come from? Oh yeah, so I sat on his bed, right? And I don't exactly know where I got this idea that I fancied him from. As in, I don't know if it was an actual feeling or it was just some kind of weed-induced intimacy thing, because I was sat on his bed and because we were close and because I was desperate, basically, because that makes sense. Because if you think about it, like, I was really clingy and needy with Andrea, and then I didn't have her around anymore, so I had no one else to cling on to, and no one else to give me any good feelings about myself. So I was kind of depressed and desperate and needy and of low inner self-esteem, inner value. So that makes sense. So I think I kind of just latched onto him because he was nearby and I was stoned. And yeah, and we had a close relationship in terms of our friendship was close. But he really wasn't gay or interested in me at all. And I think I was just confused, really. I think I was just desperate and confused. I didn't really know if I fancied him. I just think I was confused and lost and lonely and desperate and stoned. Yeah. But I told him that I felt like I might fancy him, and he wasn't happy about that. So he kind of rejected me and pushed me away, and I didn't make any sexual advances on him, but I just told him that, and he distanced himself from me after that. Yeah, which was a shame because we were good friends. Okay, and then I tripped really hard on this blunt that we had after the Kingston gig. So we had a gig at Kingston, the Peel. Came home from that to celebrate. We had a blunt, and I tripped balls hardcore. Thought that I was Hitler. Thought that everything was in communication with everything else. Figured out that the way we need to run the world is for everyone to have a vote on every global issue in a referendum style thing, which can be done via the medium of the internet. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we having a global referendum on various issues? Because then you'd have the whole population of the whole world having their input and their say, and that's more of a democratic thing, isn't it? To have everyone who has a say. And why not get children involved as well? Why not anyone who's able to press a button or communicate in some way to have a say? Because everyone's lives are affected by what decisions are made in the world, including children. Yeah. Oh, but they're too stupid to vote. No, they're not too stupid to vote. Or they're too immature to vote. Yeah, but they still have a say. They still have an impact, and their lives are affected by decisions that are made. So I think they should have a say. So that was my idea when I was stoned. I just realised, oh my God, we need to have a global referendum. We need to have global voting. We need to have every person having the access to a vote on decisions that are made. And then I kind of envisaged this other hierarchy thing as well, where you have like governments devolving power somehow. I can't remember exactly how I figured it out. Yeah. It was basically more like power is more evenly spread throughout the hierarchy, so the local area has more power to change what it wants to change in its local area geographically. But I don't think that idea really makes sense anymore because our world is so interconnected, and the distances, geographical distances, don't mean as much as they used to because of our transportation systems. So I don't know. I've always thought that the idea of nation states is kind of stupid. I'm not sure why we have them. I think that one day nation states will be abolished, as in they won't be abolished. We won't need them anymore. Like we'll just be like, yeah, we all live on this planet, and that's the main thing. And maybe nation states are more like gentle, soft boundaries, if that makes sense, soft boundaries. But I don't think we're there yet at all. I don't think we're there at that point yet, because I don't think that's. I don't think it's wise, and I don't think it's possible either to have that soft boundary between nation states, because the cultural differences and political differences, and views and behavior of all different countries, we're not able to integrate yet, I don't think. And I think there's a reason why we have nation states, and boundaries between nations at this time, because they protect each chunk of people from the other chunks of people who hate their fucking guts. Nation state, they sort of help to stop fighting somehow, in some ways, even though we're always fighting about whose nation state is whose, and which part of the which part of the part within the part is the nation state, and which part is the part of the other nation state. There's always territory wars going on, aren't there? Ugh. Bizarre. Anyway, so I got stoned, and I also had this fear that I was going to go insane, because I already felt like I was going insane by all the paranoid thinking that I was going through when I was smoking dope. So I resolved to stop smoking dope at a certain point. Oh my god, I also used to do this thing called the bat, where I would randomly turn the light off and start flapping my wings by putting my coat over my head and going and freaking everyone out when I was stoned. When we were all stoned in another guy's garage. Yeah, my voice is starting to give up, so I might leave this for another time, even though I said I wanted to do a long video. This is pretty long. Yeah, okay. So we got some more details out there, I guess. We had a good talk about sexuality for a while, which was nice. We got the different things over there. I do actually feel better about my sexuality for having laid it out like that, and to allow myself to have all of them. Feels better. All right, I'm gonna go. See you later. Bye.